Hello, dear friends. Yes, it's me, Brother Sean, and you'll notice behind me there's a lot of candles, etc. It's actually day 2 of our novena in honor of St. Francis, the eco-spiritual warrior of peace. And we're offering these 7 days, as you know, for the Field of Dreams, the Abbey of St. Francis, where brothers and sisters of different faiths can come together in love and embrace the one true loving God. Recently I was guided to become a Twitter fan, so I started tweeting members of the Christian community and of course other faiths. But I had an interesting reply from a minister in California who more or less denounced me as Satan for daring to embrace other faiths. And I was really taken back by this very bright, articulate, gifted spiritual lady. And I realized in my heart the pain that Jesus felt. Jesus, the barefoot Galilean, who came to reawaken the divine within us, to bring a message of love from a loving Father, Mother God. But he realized that his own people, the Jewish people, particularly the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the priests of the temple, they were closed. They were closed in their mind, they were closed in their heart. And maybe that was through fear, maybe it was through an anxiety of losing control over the people that they depended on for their livelihood. I don't know. But I was really taken aback by this minister's unchristian comments, where she's convinced that the one true faith is the Christian faith. And I was groomed to believe that as a young boy growing up in the Catholic Church, even as a Catholic nursing monk. But that all changed when I knelt at the tomb of Francis in Assisi, when the Lord Jesus spoke to my heart and invited me to step out of my comfort zone and embrace all faiths as children of a loving God, and not to preach dogma, but to show the love of God and Franciscan hospitality. And you know what is so beautiful? The other evening, Sister Nirmala left a beautiful quote from Rumi, whom Francis of Assisi loved. He loved Rumi, and he loved anything to do with Sufism. But this is the quote: "I have come to drag you out of yourself and take you in my heart. I have come to bring out the beauty in you and lift you like a prayer to the sky." Rumi. Isn't that an awesome message from God? And isn't that the reason why God has allowed so many beautiful spiritual men and women of all faiths and none come into this life and speak God's message of love to our hearts? And though we're living in the 21st century, we've got Apple, we've got iPads, we've got iMacs, we've got all sorts of electrical gadgets to improve our communication with each other, like the mobile phone. I mean, you only have to go on the bus, or here, because I'm enclosed, I don't see it so much. But when I go to the gate to say hello to my neighbours passing, you see the young children coming from school as young as 7 on the mobile. And you think, where's conversation with God? I have come to drag you out of yourself and take you in my heart. I have come to bring out the beauty in you and lift you like a prayer to the sky. What's that saying to your heart, my friends? What are you feeling as I share those words with you? Today is a beautiful time to reawaken to your inner truth. A time full of challenges. A time when many are losing heart. I watched a documentary last night on the BBC World News Channel of how the impact of the recession is hitting Greece. And the middle classes are so despondent, feeling helpless and hopeless, that not even their church, the Greek Orthodox Church, can pacify their fear. So how do we communicate God's love in a recession, when there's a spiritual recession, where brothers and sisters of different faiths are closed to one another? Oh, but yes, they say they love God, but they've no time for brothers and sisters of different faiths, or they're committing the greatest sin of all, the sin against love, the sin against charity. And you and I both know that God is a God of love, and when we insult one another like this, we're actually insulting a loving God. So how do we bring ourselves out of this mindset of religious superiority and indifference? What can we do today to distance ourselves from those negative mindsets rooted in a controlling, fearful way? Well, the only way I can suggest is what's happened to me. Kneel before your God, the creator of all life, and surrender your heart. And in that surrender, listen to your inner voice, not your ego. Listen to your inner voice, to God speaking to your heart, and act upon it. Act upon it. But today, sadly, God is trying to speak to our hearts. But as we used to say in Ireland when I was a young boy growing up, sure, Jesus, you can bring the horse to the well, but you can't make it drink. I have come to drag you out of yourself and take you in my heart. I have come to bring out the beauty in you and lift you like a prayer to the sky. And this is the wonderful, beautiful poet Rumi, who wasn't a Catholic Christian, but who was a child of God, a humble, selfless servant of God. And yet many Christians, and I am a Christian, would dare destroy the reputation of God's message to them because this man isn't an evangelical, born-again Christian. Where does that leave us today as we stand in the presence of God? We have a duty of care to distance ourselves from this mindset. And I know that Jesus said that those who are willing to hear will hear, and those who won't will refuse. So what do we do? Well, if there's no welcome in the inn, leave it a blessing. Wipe the dust from your feet and depart. And I believe that that's what we have to do. But many ministers today are afraid to say that to their congregation. Are you afraid? I challenge you today to embrace that wonderful commandment of love. Love one another as I have loved you.